Hey folks, Real with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin, and this is a top 10 best hardcore champions in WWE. I'm not going to do WCW because our hardcore division was shit. Even with some of the workers that they had, like Norman Smiley and Bam Bam Bigelow. But basically, I don't remember the name of the person who suggested this. I apologize for their recent follow. They tweeted to me a few times. They seemed cool enough, and they kind of seemed to really want me to do this, so I figured, okay, I'll find the time after Mania. Found the time, I looked it up, and there were 52 different hardcore champions. Some reigns that lasted just a few seconds or even a couple minutes. And a total of 240 reigns between these 52 people. That's ridiculous. The hardcore division was just fun for a while, and then it got silly. But basically, this is me talking about the best. I'm just going to talk about the best ones and go from there. And I'm basing it solely on what I remember about them, whether they were entertaining matches, where the reigns meant something, and where the matches really just delivered and, made me a fan. Actually made my, pique my interest. So anyway, here we go with number 10. And by the way, I added this a few times, so if your favorite isn't here, oh well, make your own list, make your own video. This is my video. Anyway. Number 10, Mankind, because inaugural, Vince handed him the Hardcore Championship. You deserve it, Mick. Sure, he wasn't a Hardcore Champion for long, but whatever. It's like I'm putting Mankind here mainly for nostalgia and for the fact that he did work pretty damn hard and actually became WWE Champion a couple months after that. It's just, he's mainly there just for nostalgia and for being the initial Hardcore Champion. Cool. Hey, whatever. I was going to put Big Boss Man here, and Boss Man's a hell of a worker, but he was better outside of the hardcore division. So Mankind, number 10. Number 9, Al Snow. Al was much better in the hardcore division, even though he's a really good worker, especially for a number of years in ECW and even WWE. His hardcore division time really was what got him noticed. The whole bowling ball to the groin thing and using head and all that. And the mannequin head, by the way, that he would hold, I really should have worded that better. But Al Snow, he had a few reigns and it was fun. And he seemed to have fun with it. Even though he's acting crazy, I don't think the bumps necessarily felt good, but he did help add quite a bit to the hardcore division. Number 8, RVD. While I loathe the fact that RVD gets much praise outside of his innovative offense, because I never thought that the guy deserved to be anything other than an upper mid-card guy at best, because he was never dedicated enough to be the main champion, which I will get to on a later show. On a top 15 WWE champions list, imagine that. RVD really did lend well to the hardcore style. His matches with Jerry Lynn, ECW in particular, were great, and showed how he could work really well with weapons, chairs, Van Terminator, Van Daminator, that kind of stuff. RVD was very innovative with his offense and did work well as a hardcore champion. I will give him that. Number 7, the Big Boss Man. I actually did end up putting this guy a little bit higher. I like the Big Boss Man. The reason I put him a little bit higher, actually, now that I think about it, is how much better he was. Like, even when he had lost some weight. He had actually lost quite a bit of weight. Like, compared to his time in WWE and even in WCW. And he had the SWAT gear type stuff, and it worked pretty well. And Boss Man, yeah, he was a diminished worker at that point, more miles and everything on his body. But the hardcore division gave him some longevity, and he had some interesting feuds. His feud with Al Snow was weird, especially feeding the dog to Al Snow in the Kennel from Hell match. Good God, wrestling is weird and stupid sometimes. But Boss Man as a hardcore champion was fine. Now, number 6, Rhino. I originally had Road Dogg on here. Road Dogg couldn't really work. And Rhino, at least, was a more impactful talent, so that's why Rhino's here. His style fit perfectly, the whole gore and just being a beast, the man beast, who's called the man beast for a reason. Rhino was a really good worker for a big guy. Maybe he shouldn't be wrestling now necessarily in 2017. I know I think he's going to be 42 this year. But for a while, especially in the hardcore division, had some pretty good matches, pretty good spots, especially like how he managed to gore a shopping cart and fit in the shopping cart, I will never know with his big frame. But that was fun, and yes, it was about WWE, but his stuff in TNA for a number of years, Impact Wrestling now, but TNA at the time really was pretty good. But his time in WWE as a hardcore champion, short, but still, Good stuff. Number 5, Hardcore Holly. The name says it all. He fit perfectly for the hardcore division. I mean, I might repeat that line a bit, but he really did fit perfectly. He was a mid-card worker / kind of jobber as far as being Sparky Plug and then being part of the New Midnight Express with Bart Gunn. Even though both are good workers, it wasn't going to work, sadly, even though both, I think, could have made a pretty good team. But once he became Hardcore Holly, it worked a lot better. His time being the champion, his feud with Crash, his teaming with Crash being the super heavyweights, weighing in allegedly over 400 pounds, carrying the scale. Well, Crash in particular, but yeah, Hardcore was pretty cool. Pretty fun to watch, and actually seems like he's doing pretty well outside of WWE, so that's really good. That's why he's number 5, though, because I enjoyed his work. Number 4, Raven. In particular because of his match at Mania 17 with Big Show and Kane. And he had, I think 21 reigns, 35 days. He didn't have the title very long. But his style fit for the hardcore division perfectly. And especially that window spot at Mania 17. I know it was rigged, but still, it looked pretty damn cool. Raven, number 4 right here. Number 3, Undertaker. I mean, he beat RVD at a really underrated match at Vengeance 2001. It was that was when he was in his big evil biker phase. And I really enjoyed that. I thought the Undertaker's hardcore title reign, which granted didn't last long, was pretty damn good. And I mean, he fit perfectly where you were really going to have to get lucky or get a bunch of guys to beat him down and get the pin. Because that's when Undertaker's pretty damn dominant. But yeah, that match with RVD in particular is why I put him here on this list. Because that was a damn good match. Number 2, Steve Blackman. I mean, Lethal Weapon, he beat up Bradshaw at one point. So, that's pretty much why he's going up there. Pretty much anybody that wanted to beat up Bradshaw and beat up Bradshaw might be going on lists like this if they were a good champion. Steve Blackman, I mean, he had some good feuds. I think that it's a shame that he suffered injuries and wasn't able to continue in wrestling past, I want to say 2001. I want to say 2001 is about the time he retired. I think he suffered concussions and or a neck injury. It's one of the two, possibly both. But Steve Blackman was really entertaining. Even with his stoic personality, his offense and the usage of weapons was really cool. And he fit perfectly for that. His match with Shane McMahon where he won the hardcore title, jumping off the stage, the ladder part, of the staging or whatever, that was pretty cool. And driving his elbow through Shane, that was pretty funny. I didn't put Shane here as a hardcore champion or even, as worst, because he was only hardcore champion for 6 days, but still led to one of the most iconic moments, so I left him off both lists. But Steve Blackman's here. And number 1, Crash Holly. Because I put Hardcore Holly number 5, Crash Holly defined the hardcore division. Even if he never had the title for that long, even if he never had the most reigns, and never had the most days as champion, I believe Steve Blackman had the most days as champion. My God, Crash Holly was just entertaining. It's a shame they could never use him well after this, because Crash Holly was a good worker, good undersized guy, really talented. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed Crash Holly in the ring. Shame he died in 2003, so young. But Crash Holly was really good. Really good, really entertaining. The Fun Time USA thing, where he's in the little kiddie theme park because he was so short he could fit in there. The airport luggage claim, the hotel room, the getting the massage and everything and that kind of stuff. Just Crash Holly invented the 24/7 rule. I mean, how could he not be on here? Because it led to some stupid moments and some entertaining moments, but still, that's why Crash Holly is here at number 1. So, my top 10 best hardcore champions in WWE. Agree, disagree, like, share, comment, subscribe as always. Twitter link is in the description. Spend real honesty with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.